Hi, everybody, and welcome to this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aiden Champion. Not a whole lot to cover today, but some rather significant news on the transfer portal front for Michigan State football. Hadn't been much, impactful news up until this point, but um, today, Monday, Dillon Tatum had announced that he uh, would be entering the transfer portal. Um, Kind of a surprise, coming off his injury last year. Uh, goes down in game one against Florida Atlantic and then misses the rest of the year. There was, high hope of him returning and, getting back to that same level of production he had in year two, that had he had been expected to build on for year three. But then the injury happened, and I think fans were hopeful, and I think the coaches were excited for him too, because they knew what he was capable of, even though they most of them weren't here in 23. They had seen him in camp, um, spring practice and whatnot. So then, they get him back for spring ball this year, and I think the sense was that there was excitement to get him back, to have a veteran presence in the room, a guy who we knew when he was a prospect, but was a versatile athlete who could play multiple positions in the secondary. Um, so that with all that considered, it's a tough loss, quite frankly. If you remember, Tatum, big time recruit coming in when he had chosen Michigan State, four-star, one of the best prospects from Michigan in his class. Was, like I said, was in high school, was a guy who played multiple positions, played running back. He was a returner, and then of course also played in the secondary. Um, and didn't only got one start his first year, but then started 8 games in year two, logged 45 tackles, started to really prove his worth for Michigan State. And, I think that's why the bar was raised for year three before he went down. Um, so, like I said, it is a tough hit, um, a surprising one at that. But, my guess is I think it can take a toll. Well, I know it can take a toll on an athlete when they suffer an injury, and um, I'm sure in some cases you kind of just um, want to restart almost. You feel that it kind of an urgency, especially when you're a veteran, that you want to really get this thing going. You almost feel pressure to get back to where you were, and maybe sometimes that just means um, clean slate, starting new. Um, and so that, I don't know, but my guess is that was probably somewhere in Tatum's thought process when he was deciding what he was going to do. Um, and so portal ends, closes on Friday. Still no moves from Michigan State. I do think they need to make some, even though, like I said on the podcast yesterday, um, they a lot of the emphasis seemed to be in the winter. Uh, they addressed a lot of areas of need through the winter window, but there is still some work to be done, I think, in this 1 week here. Um, a and by 1 week, I mean it's more than that. It's just Fridays when it closes, when players can stop entering, but still gotta bring some more guys in, and now even more so in the secondary. I think you need to add to that room. Um, Probably preferably a more experienced guy because you lose a lot of experience there with Tatum. So that, you know, I definitely think that needs to be addressed. If they weren't, say they weren't to do anything, I think that'd be a little alarming because, say you get to the point next year, you miss out on another bowl game. Well, what could you have done more in the spring? You know, fans will look at that, analysts will look at that, and I think it would be fair too, because this is a team that went 5-7 last year, and you need to improve. They have addressed areas of need, but I think they still could. And I think, like Smith said, Jonathan Smith, you can always add depth. There's always opportunity for competition, so I don't think they should close the door just yet. And I don't think they will. I think they will add. Um, you know, I can't put a number on it, but I think there will be some activity this week on Michigan State's end of things. So, if there is, we'll keep you updated on all that, um, and we will, yeah, we'll be sure to let you know. So, thank you, everyone. As always, I'm Aiden Champion. Thanks for tuning in, and really appreciate your guys' engagement. We are producing tons of content every day on our website, Michigan State Spartans on SI, and you can read it all there. Um, and we really do appreciate your support a lot. So thank you, and hope you had a great Monday. Hope you have a great rest of your week as well. Thanks.